Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is Thursday, November 5th, 2020, and this is the Flight Sim News. So, the big open beta update dropped for DCS World yesterday on the 4th. There is so much stuff packed into this. There is one thing that didn't end up making it, and we'll talk about that once we get to the end of the list here for the 2.5.6 57264 open beta update. This is the large November 4th update that we've been looking for, and to begin, it starts out, and they've claimed that the new damage model World War II code with all last fixes is uploaded to build to start open public tests on the ED servers shortly. The information about how to connect to test servers will be placed on the forum soon. Man, really, guys? Way to start out the whole thing and just piss a lot of people off, to be honest. I was really looking forward to the new AI improvements and the damage code for the World War II warbirds that are in DCS, but apparently the only way to check it out or test it is to log into one of the open public test servers that Eagle Dynamics runs. That's bullshit. But whatever, man. Whatever you got to do to just finally catch up to IL-2. But that really is shitty, and that sucks. Because I had looked forward to coming home, logging in, doing some stuff against the AI, and just having some fun. I don't like going online unless I absolutely have to. It's just not my thing. So that's kind of shitty. And I'm looking forward to them actually releasing this instead of screwing around. Next up, looks like there's a lot of terrain improvements. So they've improved the background preload for less stutters. Surface textures, improved details at high altitude for high terrain texture option. Improved loading resources and memory management. Fixed excessively curved paths. Fixed a leak after destroying a seen object. Fixed civil traffic disappearing. Fixed grass disappearing. Improved far LOD rendering. Trees, fixed mirroring far LOD, may break user mods. And then there's just a ton of other odds and ends. Crash when Land Rover 101 died. Big formation task aircraft placement doesn't work as intended. Fixed behavior of AI gunners on bombers have been improved. AI pilot bailout procedures were improved. Behavior of the WGR-21. World War II bomber formation keeps mission set altitude during threat of AAA. AI emergency procedures, ditching on water has been added. World War II torpedoes have better destruction force against ships now. A mission editor thing, added the ability to show hide all units of coalition, found in map options. Corrected historical mode database. AI F-14s don't use TWS with AIM-54 missiles has been fixed. Multiplayer, dedicated server, client stopped on black screen when server restarted mission has been fixed. AI MLRS, do not rearm and continue to fire has been fixed. The AI Tornado GR4, unable to midair refuel has been fixed. A ton of other little mission editor things. Multiplayer things, sound, support for mono USB headsets, sound, update for new sound feature Origin Sphere, work in progress, updated German localization, a bunch of stuff for JDAMs, some things for the AGM 88, CBU 87, 97, 103, and 105, reduce the influence of wind. AI, unable to drop multiple JDAMs on a single target attack run has been fixed. So much stuff in terms of the AI. Here we go. AI World War II. AI pilots will go bail out faster. Added dead AI pilot lean head animation. AI improves supercarrier compatibility of the Heatblur F-14. Wing config during ship taxi fixed. Oh, that's one that really annoyed me. If that's what I think it is, that is the one I think where, like, you start a mission and the guy next to you has his wings out, and as soon as you move, you run into them, and then the mission, you can't even start it because it's just bullshit. So that would be nice if that is what that is. Aerobatics task added horizontal 8. AI will not go to take off with significant damage. AI with damage after landing will not remain on the runway. Radio, World War II, restored radio command, cover me. Oh, that sucks if that didn't work. AI behaves incorrectly during a follow task in some cases, fixed. Yeah, they keep introducing that one. AI aircraft goes to collision during taxiing to runway in some cases, fixed. Yep, sounds like the same thing. AI carrier-based aircraft unable to find the parking spot in mission editor if landing at an airbase has been fixed. Bunch more multiplayer and mission editor things. And then I'm just going to skip ahead. There's so much here. The AV8B by Razbam. And this is the list that we covered already in, I believe, the last Flight Sim news when Razbam was talking about their Q4 update. And same thing for the Mirage 2000 from Razbam. These 4 things were what was added. If you have the C101 Aviojet by AvioDev, it looks like they've fixed a lot of stuff for that. Gazelle. Fixed the RWR symbology, fixed TV targeting symbology, and fixed the laser rangefinder symbology. That was something that happened because Ed had changed the code, as I recall, and that put them behind a little bit on the Kiowa. And it broke the Gazelle and Kiowa both, and it looks like they fixed it in the Gazelle, so hopefully that means good news for the Kiowa development as well. JF17 by Deca Ironworks. This is one that I kind of enjoyed flying when they had the free-to-play, but it is just so expensive. It's one that they just don't really put on sale very often, or when they do, it's like, $10 off or something. If this was down to $30, $35, I might jump on it, but man, it's just not an iconic plane to me. But eventually, I think I will end up getting it. The China Asset Pack. They've fixed about 4 things there. Now here's one of the biggest ones, DCS F18c Hornet. Too much to really list. So much stuff added, fixed, changed, removed. It is a really long list, and I believe this should include the addition of the new symbology for the HMMCs, for the helmet-mounted queuing system, which is the one thing I'm looking forward to more than anything. And then the Viper also has a pretty big list of stuff. Added harm loading option to stations 4 and 6. Added the HQ7 and Rollin to the harm sensor database. Waypoints disappear after switching to air-to-ground and back to nav. That's been fixed. A variety of things. Harm has redesign logic fixed. Switching master modes power off harms fixed. It sounds like they've done a lot of harm fixing more than anything. Super Carrier. Hey, here's the first one I've seen in a long time for Super Carrier. Static crewmen have collision fixed. See you at 10 stays after used fixed. AI F14 and user mission gets stuck in the middle of the deck and then vanishes fixed. Added more variants in AI carrier approach speed. Su-33 and Kuznetsov abort takeoff fixed. Lights are turned on bridge and open spaces below flight deck daytime fixed. All aircraft spawn from the runway has been fixed. Deck crew disappears on game pause has been fixed as well. A10C2 Tank Killer by Ed. I'll let you read this one. There's a ton of little fixes and improvements. DCS P47D Thunderbolt water injection system has been added. Engine improvements based on the water injection system. Air cooling model has been improved. Fixed a bug with displaying some elements after destruction of wings. Oh, like where the wings were actually kind of still there but invisible. Rudder plate at max deflection angles intersects with other elements fixed. And cowl flaps control rod model has been improved. I'm going to jump in and try out the P47. That's the one warbird out of all the ones they got that I keep going back to and just, trying to figure it out, man. It's a real tough bird to master, but you know what? I think it's the nicest looking one. I do like the Spitfire more and the Mustang in terms of just jumping in and wanting to, go shoot some stuff because those two are easier to fly, but the P47 is still great fun if you ask me. Focke-Wulf 190 A8, smokescreen button assignment fixed, oil temperature fixed. The D9, corrections to the cooling model. Spitfire, when leaving aircraft to AI, its tail sinks into the ground, fixed. Added the burned model. Some visual gaps between cockpit and external model are closed. Flaming Cliffs. These guys are still getting some love after all these years. That's pretty cool. Cockpit indication doesn't work, fixed for the MiG-29G. MiG-29, large bounce after heavy landing. No nose gear damage has been fixed. Su-25, they've added a single mission to the Syria map. Su-25T. Gun pad not doing any damage to light armor. Added some armor-piercing shells in the round rack. Updated and added some instant action missions. Ooh, that's interesting. Always fun to jump in the F-15 or one of those Flaming Cliffs planes and just have some fun and have at it. KA-50, the elevation of the Vickers ATGM does not correlate with the sight, has been fixed. Viggen, fixed to HUD shutting off in Sidewinder fast select mode. They spelled that wrong, shutting off, shutting of. Added invisible FARP object, single parking spot. Added caucus short field training. Fixed to CTD related to save games folder in non-Latin script. World War II Assets Pack by Ed. This is something that they should just give away at this point if they ever really want to compete with IL-2 in the Warbird stuff. But get it while it's on sale, because if you do like the DCS Warbirds, you're going to need it. They've added new units to it. M1 37mm AAA, M45 quad mount AAA, QF 3.7-inch AAA, Daimler armored car, M4 high-speed tractor, light tank Mark 567 Tetarch, FUMG 401 Freya LZ radar. What else have they fixed? MG shoots higher on the SD234-2 Puma. Sight reticle has been changed. The A20G behavior is changed to attack aircraft bomber. The AI A20G seems to ignore CAS bombing, carpet bombing tasking. That's been fixed. AI gunners on bombers are too accurate. A20G and JU-88 effective turret range has been reduced. You know what? I thought the bombers in general were a little too accurate and a little too nasty in this, because if you try to fly up on, I think it was like the B-17 or something, those guys would just shred you. So they might need to work on that one too. Evasion maneuvers for World War II bombers has been improved. And the following units have been made available free for all users. Now that's interesting. They listed under the World War II Assets Pack. So does that mean you don't need the World War II Assets Pack now to access the A-20G, the Flak 18, the Bofors, the Panzers, Sherman, M2A1, Blitz 3.6, and the Bedford? Combined arms. They still make something for this. It's no fun. I don't even know why they bother. MLRS, don't rearm and continue to fire has been fixed. I'm not even going to read it. There's like 4 things for that. Now, this is interesting, and I can't wait to jump in and check this out. So, the channel map, optimized surface details. Fixed, unable to set temperature, improved TAD textures, and made birds' ambient sounds less annoying. I don't remember them being annoying, but I do love the channel map. The Syria map optimized surface details, eliminated AI's traffic jam on some airport runways during takeoff. Those two I'm really looking forward to jumping in and checking out because neither one of them have really been optimized since they were released. So I'm curious to see how much more, if at all, it changes the frame rate and performance of those maps when things get a little bit busy. Campaigns. The Border Campaign by Armin I'm not going to say it. The work of non-directional radio beacon, which is lost after updates in the mission editor, has been restored. The Horrido campaign, which is the newest Focke-Wulf 190A8 campaign from Greg over at Reflected Simulations. Temperatures adjusted and new assets added. Spitfire, the Big Show campaign, and P-51 Blue-Nosed Bastards of Bodney, also from Greg at Reflected Simulations. Various bug fixes and improvements, and new assets have been added. The Argo campaign for the UH-1H Huey. Mission 6 fixed a trigger zone bug that was not allowing the mission to continue after the first few minutes. And then the Raven 1 campaign from Baltic Dragon. Way too many things to read, but looks like they've been doing some tweaking and some fixing. A10C, Enemy Within by Baltic Dragon. He's added the ability to use the A10C2 now in that campaign. And then the L39 Albatross Cursant campaign. Mission 8, the logic of the final message and the unsuccess has been improved. Overall, this is probably the biggest improvement we've seen in a long time to DCS, and it's pretty cool if you own any of these planes that got the most love. As you're noticing, though, there's something missing, and let's talk about that. So the guys at Heatblur, day before, announced their DCS F14 Development update. So the good news, we're going to be getting the F14A, and it's going to be soon. The bad news is it didn't make it into the November 4th update. I'm not butthurt about it. I can wait a couple more weeks. It's a pretty big update. They go on to talk about a lot of stuff, but the main thing is the F14A will go live on November 18th. Together with a complete sound overhaul, full campaign for the B Tomcat, and plenty of other new features, improvements, and quality of life changes. That's fantastic. It really, really is. So the A is among us. Some of the other things that they're doing is optional afterburner gate keybinds, TF30 mid-compression bypass circuit breaker, external engine fire and compressor stall animations, fire shutoff handles and fire suppression system, and then stuff that's coming on down the line is F14A-95, F14A-135, F14A-135 late model. So in November 18th, we're going to see the release of the ALR-67 equipped F14A-135. This represents a closer analog to the current F14B. It also allows us to roll out the F14A in a controlled stepwise process. The ALR-45 equipped F14A will not be far behind, which will not only introduce more significant changes in cockpit avionics, but also implement the full overhaul of the RWR and EM spectrum emissions upgrades planned for both the ALR-67 and 45. See more details on that here. Investment into core technologies such as robust RWR simulation pays dividends in future products, and getting it just right the first time around is critical to modularity and reusability. With these three distinct eras of the F-14A, we hope to accurately represent a wide cross-section of the F-14A's operational life. Some of these additions, changes, and limitations will be implemented through Mission Editor or Special Options menu. We hope to provide a substantial level of customizability to account for many of the differences found on even a jet-to-jet basis. Some of these include, across the 3 variants, removal of fuel pylons, bullet fairing for the TCS, ALQ instead of TCS, early gun vent plate, fuselage Rio step strengthener panel, alternate front windscreen defogger array, early ducktail, ALQ ECM bulges, MBU-7P mask, MS22001 mask, HGU-55 pilots, and they go on to say, we genuinely hope you enjoy flying the A come the 18th, and we greatly look forward to your feedback, stories, and impressions. And then it goes on to talk about the sound overhaul and everything that they've done for that. And on top of that, the F-14B campaign, Operation Reforger, the Iron Heel. The update will introduce one of the 2 main campaigns shipping with the F-14, namely the F-14B campaign set in the Caucasus Theater. We've been hopefully tiding you over through single-player content in the form of missions and over 50 instant action scenarios, and it's now going to be time to put your skills to the test. The F-14B campaign consists of 10 missions, including 10 fully voiced missions testing the player's skills, from carrier quals to cap, air-to-air refueling, MIG-cap, and fighter sweep, intercepts, navigation, endurance flights, emergency handling, and the hunt for an invisible enemy. Carrier-based operations from the Stennis, replaced by the U.S. Forrestal in the next major patch. That's promising. A story following a close what could have happened scenario, fully voice acted. Realistic warfare that is focused on containing conflict escalation. A super carrier compatible version that will be published shortly after its initial release. A co-op version playable together as Pilot Rio or as a 2-ship. That's fantastic news. That is going to be so much fun. And it's going to be set in 1990. And they go to show the yaw string and then other changes and full preliminary changelog. And check out the full preliminary changelog for the 18th below. And this goes into detail telling you everything that they're adding, changing, or fixing on the 18th. And it looks like a pretty impressive list. And again, dying to get my hands on this. And then they go on to talk about the next updates. Continuing past the 18th, we will continue to focus our efforts on implementing SME feedback across the F-14A launch and beyond, while concurrently executing on the next major features on our roadmap to 1.0. We've repeated these ad nauseum, so we'll spare you the entire bulleted list, but things like Jester, Lantern, Forrestal, A6 remain top priorities, and we greatly look forward to sharing more. That said, however, we'll be focusing on the following items for the next major patch later this winter. The Forrestal class initial release, the USN F-14A-35 with the ALR-45, the IRIAF F-14A 95 with the ALR-45, no TCS, no tanks, refinement of the F-14A based on release feedback, in-cockpit VR pilots. In summary, we'll continue the F-14A rollout with expanded variants listed above through shipping the AL-45 equipped F-14A and capping things off with the early IRIAF F-14A for Red 4 in a final update. We'll continue to ship medium tier improvements such as sound overhaul and yaw string in parallel to the major release milestones. As always, thanks for your support. Enjoy the F-14A and please share your thoughts with us once you've stalled out a few times. We can't wait to hear from you. Sincerely, Heatblur. That is the update I've been looking for. I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. Alright, good friend of the channel, Iain Christie, is at it again.
Afternoon, YouTube. Sidekick here, the observant among you. You'll notice that I am not in any of my trusty normal airplanes. I'm in a new aircraft.
This time out, he
It's an
picked up the F-86F Sabre.
I purchased it at the latest sale that Eagle Dynamics and Steam were having, and I thought maybe I would do a little introductory video. Now, I know that's not the sort of thing I normally do, and it's a bit of a new thing for the channel, and I'll explain it once we get airborne. It's basically a platform built around an engine, but the engine isn't generating a massive amount of torque in one direction that you have to continually compensate for. And it's a tricycle landing gear, so it's not a real bugger to try and take off and land like the Warbirds were. So you could see why a Warbird pilot would just be in heaven getting a hold of one of these things. And that's the thing that makes it interesting to me as a simulator in DCS. Let me see if I can explain it to you. I'm really interested in what DCS can sort of show me, at least, about the history of military aviation. Gotten fascinated with that, looking at the history of iron bombing and going from the A4 to the Harrier to the A10. So it seemed like it would be really interesting to go back a step and look at the F-86, which was really the first modern jet aircraft that survived more than a few years in service, and it really was the platform that pilots and designers learned about the capabilities of jet aircraft on. So it's interesting to me to go back and
once again, another absolutely outstanding video from Iain, and it's a great first impressions, and I hope to see him do more of these because I really like his style, I really like his tone of voice, and just everything that he does here. It's just spot on, and it's a lot of people say that I have a comforting voice, and it just kind of comes natural, and I think Iain's right up there as well. He really is. I enjoy watching his stuff, I think, as much as he enjoys watching mine, and I hope you guys do as well. So I'll throw a link to this in the video description, and please run over there and check out his stuff and subscribe to his channel and hit that like button for him because he does so much good stuff, and it's always nice to see somebody else get some love here too, Next up is the C-130 Hercules module by Anubus. A viewer had sent a link to this to me to download, and they've been having some problems. I read on a couple different social media platforms that they're getting overloaded with trying to download it places. And I haven't been able to download it successfully yet myself either. But this is looking pretty cool. It is a free module. It's a multi-crew module, and it is of the C-130 Hercules.
Okay, so this will be the startup procedure for C-130 Hercules. So what we're going to do first is turn on battery.
And everything's clickable too, which is pretty cool.
Turn on the APU. There we go. The engine started, number 4 is going. Want to set a speed of about 220 knots.
Pretty cool little HUD and everything too. I think once I can actually download it, I'll have some fun with it. But overall, it looks pretty cool. Personally, it's not my thing, but I would love to see an AC 130 version of this. An AC 130 version of this would be really cool, and the ability to have multi-crew and just jump over to the side and start hammering some ground targets in this thing, that would be really fun. That would really impress me. Overall, I think a lot of guys will enjoy this, who enjoy the big civilian aircraft kind of thing. Although, when he did that, I swear I just saw a gun hanging off the side.
Yep.
Off that other side. Ah, come on, spin it around, dude.
Forward. Let's go.
I want to see that left side.
Here we go. The engine started, number 4 is going.
I backed the video up for a minute. It does look like there's guns hanging off that thing on the left side, so
Set a speed of about
I guess I'm going to
200.
have to download this and try it. That would be really fun if this is an AC-130, but I don't know why they're advertising it as a C-130. But anyways, I'll throw a link to the video
Okay.
in the description as
That's
usual, and you can
50%.
check it out for yourself, and hopefully they'll have a download link that works pretty soon or that is easier to download from. Alright, lastly, Baltic Dragon yesterday had mentioned the Ottoman Courier Free 5 mission campaign that will be added to the Harrier module has now entered the beta testing phase, which means they're getting close to release. The story presented here will be expanded and continued in the upcoming DLC campaign. So again, I think it's pretty cool that he would like release the 5 missions, and then if you want the rest of it, you can buy it. Kind of a nice little, hold the carrot in front of you. I think they should do more stuff like this, and I think they would probably sell more campaigns. Definitely a good way to do things. I'm hoping to see more of this from the other guys out there. But I'll throw a link to this in the video description as usual, and you can check it out for yourself. And that is about it for the Flight Sim News today. I could go into detail and talk about a bunch more things, but I want to jump in there and check out the open beta version and see what's new and what is fun and what's different. And I want to jump into P-47 more than anything and give that a shot. But as always, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Feel free to hit that like button. And until next time, guys.